Dear students, good morning to all of you. Now let us know about Hund's rule of maximum spin multiplicity. This rule is very useful to us while filling subshells, PDF subshells, PDF subshells. Okay, PDF subshells have degenerate orbitals. For filling degenerate orbitals, this rule is very useful to us. So now the state first let us see here. See here, let us take carbon. Atomic number 6, 1s2, 2s2, 2p2, 2p2, px, py, pz of this subshell have same energy shape, degenerate orbitals. The two electrons to be filled in degenerate orbitals, there are three possibilities. I have written like this. This is one possibility, this is another possibility, third possibility. So we have to calculate spin multiplicity for all these. Spin multiplicity formula 2s plus 1. S value plus of total how much? 1. S value 1. So S value 1. 2 into 1 plus 1 3. Spin multiplicity for this configuration is 3. For this configuration here plus of minus of, here no need, plus of minus of plus of minus of plus of minus. S is equal 0, 2s plus 1 1. Here also plus of minus of, S is equal 0 1. So maximum spin multiplicity we can see for this configuration. Maximum spin multiplicity means less repulsions and more stable. So this configuration is more stable. Carbon will have the configuration like this according to Hund's rule. So these are wrong. Even though there are three possibilities, we have to consider this one because for this the spin multiplicity is 3. Maximum multiplicity, spin multiplicity means more stable. So according to Hund's rule, degenerate orbitals filled in this manner. Okay, so you have to fill each degenerate orbital with one electron each of parallel spins. Okay, first nitrogen let us come. So 1s2, 2s2, 2p3. Here no problem at 1s2, 2s2. Let us come 2p3. There are three possibilities. Here spin multiplicity how much? S is equal to 3 into half, 3 by 2. 2s plus 1 here, how much? 2 into 3 by 2, 4 spin multiplicity. In similar manner here, S is equal to half. 2s plus 1, how much? 2. Here also 2. Maximum spin multiplicity here only we can see. So this is a correct configuration for nitrogen according to Hund's rule. These are wrong configurations. Now let us come to oxygen. Here at 1s 2s no problem. Let us come to 2p4. I have written two possibilities here. Spin multiplicity for these three, for this one 1. So this is correct, this is wrong. So according to Hund, first you have to fill each degenerate orbital with one electron each, of parallel spins. From this example, what we understood? First we have to fill degenerate orbitals with one electron each. Then still we have electrons, then we have to do pairing. So this is the Hund's rule. What is the Hund's rule? Whenever degenerate orbitals px, py, pz orbitals are available for filling, pairing of electrons takes place only when all degenerate orbitals are exactly half filled with the electrons of parallel spins. Don't forget, parallel spins, electrons of parallel spins. Then only we get maximum spin multiplicity. Am I correct or not? Okay, so it is also wrong. Am I correct or not? This is also wrong. This is correct. To have maximum multiplicity, the unpaired electron should have parallel spins. This is anti-parallel spin. To this is anti-parallel. This is parallel to this is anti-parallel to this. So once again the statement now let us see. Whenever degenerate orbitals, let us take 2p subshell, px, py, pz orbitals empty. How do you fill these orbitals with electrons? First you give one electron to each degenerate orbital of parallel spins. Then only we have to make the orbitals to pair up. Understand? This is Hund's rule. It is applicable from the elements carbon onwards only, because hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, up to first 5 elements, no need of Hund's rule. Hund's rule is not required to write electron configuration of first 5 elements. From carbon onwards we need Hund's rule to write the configuration. So Hund's rule is useful to us for the elements, for writing electron configurations to the elements whose atomic number is 6 or greater than 6. Okay, so electron configuration of elements. For some elements, let us write fluorine 1s2 2s2 2p5, 1s2 2s2 2p5. This is NLX method, this is box method. Okay, for neon 1s2 2s2 2p6, less energy, more energy, still more energy. We have to fill in this manner. Okay, and now in similar manner we have to write for sodium. We have written ground state configurations. Ground state means original configurations, actual configurations. 1s2 2s2 2p6 3s1, 1s2 2s2 2p6 3s1. In similar manner we can write for all elements. Let us write for chlorine 17, 1s 2s 2p 3s 3p5. This is ground state configuration. Okay, when some energy is supplied to the chlorine, then one electron from 3p enters into 3d. Actually 5, I have written here 4, like this. So here one electron missed, see here. So if one electron enters higher orbital, then it is called first excited state. Now let us come to here second excited state, 1s2 2s2 2p6, no problem in inner shells, 3s2. Here what I have written 3p3. So what is the meaning? Ground state 3p5, here I have written 3p3. 2 electrons jumped to the higher orbitals from 3p to 3d. If 2 electrons excited, that is called second excited state. If 1 electron excited, that is called first excited state. Okay, in third excited state, 1s2 2s2 2p6 3s2 we can't write, because now we can make the electron to jump from 3s to 3d. So how many electrons jumped? 1 electron from 3s, 2 electrons from 3p, 1 electron from 3s, 2 electrons from 3p jumped. So it is a third excited state electronic configuration. Now frequently they will ask, why I don't know, Cl minus configuration. Atomic number 17, but 1 electron added, so 18 electrons. It has argon configuration, so its configuration can be written as argon configuration 1s2 2s2 2p6 3s2 3p6. All the best.